Hello and good day. My name is Ruchi Parekh and I'm an executive life and career coach. I'm an NLP practitioner, keynote speaker, and an author. Welcome to my podcast, The Good Coach. My guest today is a speaker, author, consultant, leadership trainer, executive coach, and certified board director. Please welcome Mette Johansson. Her expertise is authentic, inclusive, and inspirational leadership. Originally from Denmark, she spent 23 years in Asia, 14 of those in Singapore. In her spare time, she runs the amazing Keynote Women Speakers, a non-profit organization that's on a mission to bring more diversity to the speaking stages. Welcome to the Good Coach, Mette.
Thank you very much, Ruchi. It's wonderful being here.
It's my pleasure to have you on The Good Coach. Let's dive right in. Tell me, what has inspired you to become this amazing trainer, coach? What is it that brought you to this industry?
In fact, it was a bit of a midlife crisis 10 years ago. I was in a corporate job that I did not enjoy at all. I came back home in the evenings and I just wanted to collapse on the couch. It was like somebody would pull out the plug and I was some kind of electrical equipment that was off. No more energy to do anything whatsoever. I knew that I couldn't continue doing what I was doing. And I started exploring different things that I could potentially do in the future. I spent a couple of weeks on the beach thinking about what could be my future, what I wanted to achieve in life, what was important to me. And yeah, I explored by doing some training for a company as a freelancer. I represented friends' companies here in Singapore. I did a little bit of investment consulting, and I found out that it's all about empowering other people to be the best versions of themselves. That is what drives me. That is what gives me a kick. When I connected the dot backwards in my career, I could see that the times that I was thriving, that was when I could make an impact on other people's career, personal development, professional development. And that's when I dedicated my entire professional life to exactly that, helping others become the best versions of themselves.
That is so beautiful. And I must comment, it takes a lot of courage. There are so many of us out there who are not happy in what they do and not happy in the jobs. But the courage that you showed, I don't know whether it was the desperation, but even the desperation sometimes, which leads to burnout, then leads to health issues. And that's when someone takes the step. But you did it before all of that happened. And that must salute you for that, because it's an inspiration. I hope my listeners are getting some inspiration, some motivation, that if every day you come home waiting to collapse, no energy left, that's a sign. Don't wait till, it gets really bad, your health is affected. Do it before all of that happens. And you found what your life was to make that impact, to make a difference in others' lives. So inspiring. Thank you for sharing that, Mette. What do you think are some of the common misconceptions in the work you do, especially in coaching? And how do you address them?
Now, there is, of course, this misperception between what is coaching, what is mentoring, what is training. There's a big conversation around that. And coaching is about finding the answers within you. And I'm probably a bit controversial here in the coaching world because I am a coach. I'm also a trainer. I've been a mentor forever, as long as I can remember. And I'm a consultant as well. So I can show up with different hats in whatever the situation requires me to show up as. And I do find that when we are coaching and somebody has an insight, for instance, oh, I need to bring this up to my boss. I must address this. I must have a conversation. I do like to swap hats and then say, all right, let's have a role play. How are you going to address it to your boss? And then go through it as I would in training. Sometimes it is very good that I do that. I had one coachee where this is of course a coachee I had in mind. He had the insight, I must address this with my boss. If he had gone up to his boss and addressed it without us practicing it, it would have gone horribly wrong. Because at role play, I can tell you, he would not have been in a better spot if he had had that conversation with his boss. So sometimes it is good to mix the different elements of coaching where people find the resources within themselves, the answers within themselves, with that extra practicing as well, and getting the skills to address a very sensitive topic.
That's what I love about coaching. It's so empowering. Those answers that you said are within you help you realize that you are powerful. You don't have to look outside of yourself for anything. And I'm glad that role play worked out well, or the poor guy would have been in a mess. Tell me, how do you work on your own personal development? Because that is something I get asked very often. As a coach, how do I ensure that my own baggage is not taken into my session? So what is it that you do?
I think there's a couple of different things here, right? You said the baggage that's taken into a session, or the self-development. Now, for self-development, I rather have to hold myself back. I can be on Duolingo studying Japanese and further improving or reviving my French whilst I'm taking an NLP course and signing up for the next INSEAD course. I have to hold myself back, to be honest.
You're a learner. You're the eternal learner.
I'm an absolutely learning junkie. I cannot do without. And that's also why I love doing what I'm doing, because in terms of learning, we learn on the job all the time, don't we, Ruchi? When we are getting the insights, helping other people get insights, it's also new insights for us sometimes, isn't it? And that's what I love about my job, that it is learning on the job every single day. Now, you also mentioned about how do you not carry your own luggage into the session. I never really felt there was much of an issue, because it is about focusing on the person. When you're focusing on the person, there's enough time where I'm focusing on myself. So I'll just focus on the person and then go back to focusing on my own baggage, as you were calling it, I think.
The reason I said it is because sometimes, and actually, no, most of the time, and this was a discussion we had recently because it's International Coaching Week on, and one of the topics discussed was very often we pull into our lives the coachees or the clients that are struggling with issues that we ourselves have to deal with. It is just something that happens. That's when you have to, as a seasoned coach, even if not seasoned coach, that's when you have to ensure you don't say, I went through the same thing, or I'm going through the same thing, and this is how I did it. So that's the baggage I was talking about, that we have to ensure we put ourselves out of that equation, because like you rightly said, it's all about the client, the coachee, not about us. It's them. We had enough time and bandwidth in ourselves and stuff that we do. So tell me, what are common issues you see with the executives and the corporates that you work with? Something, and how do you help them through it? Some common link between the ones you work with?
I work very much with authenticity, authentic leadership, and also for leaders who have this dilemma of, now they have been promoted to the number one person in Asia Pacific. It is very often, that's very often my clientele. And they have this impression, now I must be a different person because I must speak in a town hall to hundreds of people. And I don't want to be the leader. They usually have a picture of the previous person who might have been more rah, 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 Tony Robbins on stage, jumping up and down. If they don't feel like they can be that person, they might feel uncomfortable in that role. And I work with leaders to make them understand that they don't have to be somebody else. They can be themselves. That is core to what I do, the authenticity. You can actually be a much more efficient leader when you're yourself. Build on what you're good at. Build on your strength. Don't try to copy somebody else. Days of, the GE way, Jack Welch told us how to be a good leader, and everybody was trying to emulate Jack Welch. Those days are over. And especially in today's world, the environment can change overnight. Your business objectives can change overnight because the market has completely turned upside down. We experience that through the pandemic and also with all the geopolitical tensions that we're experiencing right now, supply chain interruptions, markets are changing faster than we've ever experienced. And we keep on saying that, don't we? By the way, I love this quote by Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, who says, the speed of change has never been as fast as today, yet it will never be as slow as it is ever again.
I love Justin Trudeau. He's such a great leader.
But back to the bottom line of all of this, the environment is changing all the time. And the playbook that we used to follow, which might have been Jack Welch or whoever it was, whatever playbook we had, it doesn't work anymore. So the best way to lead is to lead based on your compass, on your authenticity, on your leadership principles. That will help you guide you through any storm, any change of weather. That will make you a powerful leader. So yes, that is what I'm facing most with leaders. It is, how do I behave right now? What do I do? It's all changed. And my advice is go back to what you stand for, what you are, what you're best at. That will make you a strong, powerful leader.
That is so beautifully said. Authentic leadership. It is so powerful. And, it's so lonely up there for the leaders. There's not much support they can get. There's always that, tension. If I ask too much, my capabilities may be questioned. And going back to basics, that advice or that said to them will give them those tools to look within and pull it out of them. So thank you for sharing that, Mette. That was beautifully said. Tell me, what is something that your life, your work has taught you and you feel everyone should learn at some point of time? Maybe you can help them get started on that learning with your own experience.
I have to learn this myself as well. It is about taking a break, step back and take a break. Make sure you have that little bit of space to get energized. We're seeing it all around us, don't we? That we're on and on and on and on. It seems like younger generations are better at it than we are. They do seem to take more of a break. It is so important that we also have time to get the energy that we can then put back into our lives. That is the best advice that I would like to give a lot of people in the past millennium generation. And every day I meet somebody that I need to give that advice. And well, I have myself as well that I still need to give that advice. I'm not always very good at it. This year, I've been better at taking some longer breaks. But yes, there have been many times where I needed to take that step back a lot more often. It goes well for a couple of years when you're resilient. But at some point of time, even the toughest, even the most resilient people, they will break.
Of course, it's just the nature of the world we're living in right now. It is hard. It is, like you said, constantly changing, evolving, trying to adapt. Match up is exhausting. And I'm so glad you brought this up. Taking that break, I believe taking that break is essential, but also regularly, not once a month, once in 2 weeks, but regularly indulging in self-care is so essential to fill that cup that we're constantly emptying on a daily basis. I have clients who say, yes, I go for a spa massage every month. I do my nails once in 3 weeks. That's not self-care. Self-care is taking out that time on a regular, almost if possible, daily basis. It doesn't have to be hours. It has to be those minutes, 15, 20, 30 minutes, just for yourself, deliberate time to just focus on your needs, to ensure you fill that cup. And it is something, like you rightly said, we forget. It's so needed. It is so essential. And why it's so important? Because then you're better at your work. You feel, you're wasting the time, but it makes you more efficient. So it is so needed. I'm glad you brought that up. Tell me, what is, I want to bring up this topic because it is so prevalent and not spoken enough of, especially in the leadership culture, for leaders, for executives and corporates. It's the assumption that when you're at a high place in your life, especially career-wise, you're just super confident. You are just running your life beautifully. But what an outsider does not realize is that, especially research has said, that 82% of people face the imposter syndrome. I want to speak about the imposter syndrome because I'm sure you've dealt with it with all the leaders and all the corporates and executives you work with. How is it that you help your leaders deal with the imposter syndrome? Because I'm not even going to say some of them have it. It is a known fact that most of us experience it in our lives. And it is something we have to accept, deal with, and take in our stride. So, what is the advice, or how would you work your leaders through it? Please share with us.
There are different ways of building your confidence. And of course, imposter syndrome that goes a little bit further than simply building confidence. There are the elements that we all know we have to work on. It is about having that good posture, body language, even having straight posture will build your confidence over time. It feels awkward when you're not used to it. Good body language does build confidence. The way we speak, whether we say, I think project A is a better way of going, or whether we simply choose to change it to a more confident tone of, in my experience, project A will lead us to 20% higher return on investment. There's a lot of confidence that will be built already by simply speaking in a more confident way. When we feel more confident, we feel also more that we belong rather than that we're imposing ourselves in a group of people where we don't belong. Now, it goes way beyond this. Very often, simply having a title that is more senior, being promoted. In the beginning, we feel that, oh, this is not us. But then when we're promoted into it and see that other people are responding to us as part of the peer group, that also boosts our confidence and reduces the imposter syndrome. When I wrote my first book, now during the whole writing process, people told me, you're an author because you're writing. Yeah. And I felt so much like, no, I'm not an author. As soon as I had that book in my hand, that imposter syndrome was gone. It was seeing the fruits of that writing that, yes, I'm an author. So I could stand up straight and say I'm an author. And now it's no problem for me whatsoever to say I'm an author. So a lot of it also comes with the experience of doing it. And it can be very frightening to step in and do it. So yes, it's a big mix of different things. Of course, also telling yourself, writing a gratitude journal and all of that can boost your confidence in one way or the other. Notice what the signs are around you that you are that leader, or that you are that author, or that you are very talented in ... that you do belong to.
Those facts. Look for the facts.
Exactly.
The general vague stuff that's going on in your life to prove that you're not a fraud, that you didn't see a chance or luck.
Exactly. So it's those small things. Work on everything at the same time. That is what can help people feel that, yes, I do belong. I am somebody who is a leader, an author, I don't know, TED speaker, whatever it is that you are.
Beautiful. So tell me any success story you could share with us that could inspire our audience that we can do it too.
In what field would you like to have a success story?
Imposter syndrome, confidence, something you coached or trained someone to overcome something. Up to you. And whatever comes to your mind.
Now, there's one beautiful story. I had just had an exchange of messages with her this morning. As part of Keynote Women Speakers, the nonprofit that you mentioned that I founded in Singapore 5.5 years ago now, right from the beginning, we didn't just have a community of speakers. We didn't just have a directory where women can be found online and be booked as speakers. We also had a training program. We're on a mission to bring more diversity to speaking stages, and that needs different solutions. One of them is also to train women to speak. Now, in our last batch of trainees, we had a woman HR leader. She was in tears after the first session. She said, I don't think I belong here. Also powerful women. I'm too much of an introvert. I can't speak up. And all of that imposter syndrome talk she shared with me. I was very happy that she shared it with me, because that gave me an opportunity to tell her, you belong. It's program is for people like you, and let's make you more confident about speaking. Now, this program, it does have 12 sessions that she went through. At the end of this, 9 months later, she was speaking on stage and she had so much fun.
Wow.
And she has been booked to speak on the biggest stages in her industry at the most important conferences. She has been booked to speak. So she has gone from being in tears, this is not for me, I don't belong here, to this is kind of fun.
I'm rocking it. How beautiful.
It was amazing. I'm even getting goosebumps when I'm thinking about it right now, because making this shift from I don't belong to having fun on stage, really enjoying it, because you know that you have something to share that other people will benefit from. You can make a difference in the world. You can make the world a better place. And going up on stage, having fun, making the world a better place, taking somebody through that journey, that is just absolutely fantastic. And I'm so honored to be able to take people through programs such as this.
I feel so honored to be a part of the Keynote Directory. I think it's a beautiful community, and it's stories like these, the impact, the value that has been added to this world. And this is one lady who, thanks to you and your push, overcame that fear. And I'm so glad she came up to you and had that conversation, or she would have left and not benefited the way she is benefiting right now. So that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. What do you think are some misconceptions about confidence? I know you said even like with imposter syndrome, it's a variety of things that you need to do. But what are these misconceptions when you see a confident person and, the first reaction is, I can't be this person. Maybe this person's born with it. That's something I've heard so much being said about me. You are born with it. And if I told you, if you met me 15 years ago, I don't think I had a voice. It was life's experiences, the work I've constantly done on myself, because I wanted to bring that voice out. So what are the misconceptions you hear about confidence?
I was also a very shy girl, and I'm not the most outgoing person today either. I go on stage because I have a message for the world to be a better place. And that is what is taking my butterflies away as well. Or as my mentor used to say, take the butterflies and make them fly information. Channel that energy to something beautiful for the audience. I go on stage because I want to make an impact. I want to make a difference. I want people to have better lives. I want them to be developing themselves professionally and personally. So I have an objective by going on stage. It's not because I want to be banging my chest, like, look at me, here I am on stage. And the confidence often comes with when you're doing it for the audience rather than for yourself. That is when those butterflies can be managed. Now, there's also another thing about confidence that I'd like to share. And I had a conversation with Thomas Chamorro Pre-Music. He's an author of a book that's called Why So Many Incompetent Men Become Leaders. Very reading title. Anyway, I had a conversation with him about confidence as well. And he says that confidence is bad, because if you have confidence, you might just believe so much in yourself, you take decisions without critically asking, is it the right thing to do? Now, in my view, he's talking about overconfidence, and that is not healthy. I challenged him and said, what if I have the confidence to say, I don't know? And that is what we both agreed upon. If you have the confidence to say, I don't know, here are my limits, I need other people's help, then it is a healthy way of confidence. So overconfidence is not good. And arrogance is not good.
Definitely
confident about, this is what I can do. Those are my limitations. These are things I can do. When you have that confidence, that is when it's healthy. So that is what we want to strive for, having that healthy dose of confidence to know what we can do and also what we can't do.
Absolutely. Thank you Such amazing golden nuggets you've been sharing with our audience, Mette. That is beautiful. One last thing. Any parting words of advice, anything that you'd like to share with our audience that they can take back from this amazing conversation and these beautiful golden nuggets that you've been sharing with us?
Of course, in the self-development industry, I am in this industry because I truly believe in working on yourself is essential. If you work on yourself, whether it is being a better person, a moral better person, or whether it is being better at what you're doing, it is absolutely essential. And in today's world, we had ChatGPT entering the scene very recently. What does it mean for our jobs? Everyone should be asking themselves that question and make sure that we don't stay in one spot, because we will become outdated very, very soon if we don't work on ourselves. So that is one tip that I would like to give here as a parting advice. Keep on working on yourself at any age. No reason to procrastinate. Start now and do a little bit every single day.
And there is no age limit. I believe that till our dying day, we are constant works in progress. There should not that limiting belief that I'm too old to learn. It's not my age to do this. My own mother is such a beautiful example. She's 60 plus and she loves the art. She had left it for a while because she had an eye condition, but her eye is better. And the first thing she did was, how can I do this better? How can I learn more? And that's something that is such an inspiration for me, that there is no age limit to learning. There should not be a barrier to just enriching your life, because no form of learning can ever go waste. So thank you for this time. Thank you for gracing our show and coming on and sharing such amazing stuff with the audience. It's been such an honor, Mette.
Thanks very much for having me, Ruchi. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.